You're lying in bed, scrolling through your phone at midnight. Nobody texted back. The apartment is quiet, and something in your chest feels like an alarm going off. But the real answer is far stranger than sadness. What if that feeling isn't an emotion at all? What if it's a warning system that has kept your ancestors alive for 200,000 years? You call it loneliness. Your brain calls it something else entirely. Think about hunger for a second. Hunger isn't really about food. It's your body telling you that fuel is running low. Thirst works the same way. It's not a mood, it's a countdown. So ask yourself this. What if loneliness is built from the exact same blueprint? Not a feeling to be managed, but a signal to be obeyed. For almost all of human history, being alone didn't mean a quiet evening to yourself. It meant death. A human without a group had no one to watch for predators while they slept, no one to share food during a bad season. A lone human on the savannah was not independent. A lone human was prey. Your ancestors who felt nothing when separated from the group simply didn't survive long enough to pass on their genes. The ones who felt a gnawing urgency to reconnect, those are the ones whose wiring you inherited. The neuroscientist John Cacioppo spent decades studying this exact mechanism, and his research described loneliness as functioning like a biological alarm, similar to hunger or pain, designed to push you back towards safety in numbers. He didn't find a sad feeling, he found a survival command. But if it's just a command, why does it feel so personal? Why does it feel like proof that something is wrong with you? Because the alarm doesn't know the difference between a real threat and a modern one. Your nervous system evolved in small bands of maybe 50 to 150 people. Isolation back then meant physical distance from the only humans who could keep you alive. Today, isolation can happen while you're surrounded by 8 million people in a city, completely unseen. Your brain still runs the ancient protocol. Researcher Julianne Holt-Lundstad ran a massive analysis combining data from over 300,000 people and found that weak social connection was associated with a risk to survival comparable to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. Not comparable to sadness, comparable to a physical health hazard. So what does the body do with this alarm? Cortisol rises, inflammation increases, sleep gets lighter because on some ancient level, resting alone was once the most dangerous thing you could do. Isn't it strange? The very state that makes you crave connection also makes you worse at pursuing it. Lonely people become hypervigilant to rejection, scanning faces for it before it happens, sometimes distancing themselves before anyone else gets the chance to. The alarm meant to pull you toward people can end up pushing them away. There's an older experiment that reveals just how deep this wiring goes. In the 1950s, the psychologist Harry Harlow separated infant monkeys from their mothers and offered a choice between two artificial replacements. One was bare wire that delivered milk. The other was soft, cloth-covered, and offered no food at all. Every infant chose the comfort over the food. Connection wasn't layered on top of survival needs. Connection was a survival need, powerful enough to override hunger. You are not so different. When you crave a text back or someone simply asking how you're doing, you're not being needy. You're behaving exactly like every social mammal that has ever existed. So then why does modern life make so many people feel isolated more than ever? Because the systems built to satisfy this ancient alarm were never designed for the world we live in now. You can have 500 followers and still feel like no one would notice if you disappeared, because your nervous system isn't counting followers. It's asking a blunter question. Would someone come looking for me? Digital connection can soothe the alarm briefly, the way a sip of salt water can trick your thirst. But it doesn't fully satisfy the signal, because the signal isn't asking for information. It's asking for proximity, reliability, presence. It's asking for a tribe. Here's the twist. If loneliness really is a survival signal, then ignoring it, numbing it, or feeling ashamed of it is like ignoring a smoke alarm because the sound is inconvenient. The alarm isn't the problem. The world stopped matching the system that built it. So what do you do with an alarm you can't switch off? You don't fight it. You answer it the way your ancestors did, deliberately and physically. Not a scroll through a feed, an actual conversation, a shared meal, a hand on a shoulder, only analog signals fully. Turn the alarm down. There's a reason isolation used to be a punishment reserved for the worst offenses in ancient tribes. Exile was not symbolic. It was, in practical terms, a death sentence. Your ancestors understood on a cellular level what modern research is only now proving in labs. Consider what this means for how you've judged yourself in the past. Every time you called yourself needy for wanting a reply. Every time you felt embarrassed for missing someone too much. You were pathologizing a survival mechanism that kept your entire bloodline alive long enough to produce you. The instinct isn't the flaw. The absence of a tribe to answer it is the flaw. So the next time that ache creeps in at midnight, when the apartment goes quiet and no one has texted back, don't tell yourself something is wrong with you. Tell yourself something very old is doing exactly what it evolved to do. You're lying in bed again, scrolling through your phone at midnight. But this time, you understand what's actually happening. That ache isn't sadness. It isn't weakness. It's 200,000 years of survival instinct quietly reminding you that you were never built to do this alone.